Hi there, my name is Chris. I'm doing a little video here on wet dry into 1 amp. Now this idea came from that pedal show. A few weeks ago they did a show called 10 Things We'd Like You to Try, and one of them was, can you do a wet dry amp set up with 1 amp? So usually you will have a wet dry with 2 amps, and you'll have your dry signal going into 1 amp and your wet signal going to the other one. So what that means is a dry signal has no delays or modulations on them usually, and your wet effect is all of those things that you want, like delay, modulation, maybe reverb. There's lots of benefits for having a 2 amp wet dry rig. One of them is that you get the difference of the 2 amps that blend together nicely. So I often use my Marshall and my VOX together, and the voicing is quite different and sounds really good. And also you get the dry signal cutting through and the blend of the wet coming through the other amp. However, not everyone has 2 amps, or maybe you don't want to take 2 amps to a gig, or you can't play that loud at a venue. So what could you do? And anyway, so I was watching the show, that pedal show, I'll put the link in, and they were talking about the 1 amp wet dry, and I realized with my AC15 I can do this, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So with an AC15, like some vintage amps, you can have 2 channels with an input going to each, and both are being heard through the master section. So typically on more modern amps you'll have 2 channels, maybe a clean and a distorted channel, and you have to switch between them. Usually you have a pedal to do that. But some of these older amps like this one, you can actually have the 2 inputs going into the 1 amp at the same time. But the difference of this setup here is that I will have my signal split by the HX Stomp I'm using. So I'll be going through my gain stage and my analog pedals, goes into my Stomp. One side goes unchanged straight through to the left out, which is the mono out of the line 6 Stomp, and then the other one is on another line, if you like, another channel inside the HX Stomp, which goes to the send, and that send is going into the top boost of this. So what you're getting here is the blend of both channels, so you can sort of mix and match how you want to go, and I'm also getting one without any of the modulation delay effects and one with. The difference obviously with this to a 2 amp setup is everything's coming out of one speaker, so I'm not going to get that sound separation that I would with 2 amps, but it's the next step to having wet dry either at an affordable level or at a quieter level for a venue. So I'll just quickly describe my setup here. So I have got a video about my pedal board, but basically I have analog pedals for my gain stages. I have an EP boost, a Tumnus overdrive, and an OCD distortion pedal. I typically run those into the HX Stomp, and I use the Stomp currently for modulations and delays, and for an effect that I only need for 1 song, and I don't want to spend $200 on a pedal for that 1 song. The other quick thing to say is I do use an expression pedal with my delay. So how I've got that set up, again in my other videos I'll show you how I do this. My expression pedal controls the mix level of the delay. And just in terms of recording, I wish I'd got my lapel mic here, but I've got a Sennheiser microphone, and I've got my Zoom HN4, which has got the stereo pair. So we will see how that goes. Just run through my pedal board here. So my guitar comes in from the EP boost, goes through the Tumnus, the OCD, and you follow the yellow cable, that goes to the input of my HX Stomp. Then I have actually got something wrong setting. So there's my wet dry FX send setting there. Is I've got the one signal going straight through, and then the split with the chorus and the tape delay going to the send. So the wet effects are coming through the send there, and they run into the top boost of the AC15, and then the top channel of the dry, that's got a EQ boost on it, and that comes out of the usual left out, then goes into the normal channel. if I wanted a stereo setting, what I've done is I've set this up on what I call a memory boy flange. And what's different here is I've only got the one chain, just going from the in to the out, and I've got a delay, reverb and compressor on there, and then it's stereo effects, and so left and right out, and they go to the two inputs on the AC15.